The ones who walk alone are the ones who walk the farthest. While the crowd seeks comfort, the chosen carve paths through the impossible. Most people spend their lives drowning in noise, distracted, controlled, asleep. But you've felt it, haven't you? That pull away from the herd, the cold silence of being different. Isolation isn't just something you endure. It's the battlefield where the chosen ones are forged. I learned this the hard way. One day, everything I thought was mine, people, security, comfort, was ripped away. It wasn't the loss that burned the most. It was the loneliness. No allies, no support. Just me, staring into the abyss, waiting for it to swallow me whole. But here's the truth they don't tell you. Loneliness doesn't break the chosen. It builds them. While others run from silence, we embrace it. While they seek validation, we sharpen ourselves in the dark. This is where the weak are separated from the strong. Because in solitude, something terrifying happens. You awaken. Your mind clears. Your instincts sharpen. You start seeing what others are blind to. And the worst part for them, they can't stop it. They can't control what they don't understand. That's why your very existence haunts your enemies. They fear what they can't manipulate. They hate that you don't need them. They watch from the shadows, confused, threatened, powerless, because nothing terrifies the ordinary more than someone who has mastered themselves. When you step into your power, people who once looked down on you will start watching you in silence, wondering how the hell you survived what should have destroyed you. They'll sense the shift, the way you move differently, the way you see through them, the way you no longer react like they expect. You're not alone in this. You're part of the rare few who don't just exist, but evolve. The ones who embrace the darkness and walk out of it stronger than ever. And today, I'm about to reveal something that will hit you harder than anything you've heard before. These are the 5 supernatural powers that set the chosen ones apart from 80% of the world. Powers that make you unstoppable. But before we begin, and now it's time to unlock what only the rarest minds will ever understand. If you've felt the weight of solitude, if you've sensed that you were never meant to blend in with the 80%, then this is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a 77 in the comments if you're ready to transform isolation into unstoppable power. And trust me, if you truly are one of the chosen, you won't be able to look away. Every second of this will pull you in, hitting deeper than you expect. Now, let's get into it, step by step. And by the end, you won't see yourself the same way again. Let's begin. Number 1. The ironclad mind. When pressure rises, the chosen stay unshaken. They watch, waiting for you to break. But the problem is, you don't. The world is built to break you, to get under your skin, to pull you into the storm of emotions that drowns 80% of people. They react, they explode, they crumble under pressure. But not you, not the chosen. You've been through the fire, but instead of burning, you hardened. Instead of breaking, you became something they can't understand. Unshaken, unreadable, untouchable. And that haunts them, because nothing terrifies the weak more than someone who refuses to be controlled by their emotions. They call you cold. They say you feel nothing. But what they don't know is that behind that quiet, behind that stillness, is a mind that has fought every war imaginable and won. Most people can't stand silence. They drown it in noise, distractions, meaningless conversations. They run from it because they know that if they're left alone with their thoughts for too long, they'll have to face who they really are. But you sat in that silence. You stared into the abyss, and when it stared back, you didn't flinch. You know what happens when the noise is gone, when the world is quiet, and it's just you and your thoughts. The weak panic, the chosen sharpen. Solitude is your training ground. It's where weakness dies and control is born. The battlefield isn't out there, it's inside your mind, and you've mastered it. You've learned the one skill that makes you untouchable. You control yourself when others cannot. People will try to push your buttons. They will try to get a reaction, because if they can control how you respond, they own you. But when they look into your eyes and see nothing but calm precision, when their words and actions bounce off of you like pebbles hitting steel, that's when fear creeps into them. Because suddenly they realize they have no power over you. You've seen it before. In arguments, when everyone else is heated, you stay silent, calculating, seeing 10 steps ahead. In chaos, when others crumble, you stand still, observing, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, or walk away. And the best part? They never see it coming. The mind of a chosen one is like an ice-capped mountain. On the surface, it's calm, still, unmovable. But beneath, a force of nature waiting to be unleashed. This isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about controlling them before they control you. You feel everything, the pain, the betrayal, the rage, but you've trained yourself to channel it, refine it, turn it into power instead of weakness. And that makes you dangerous. Because when most people react, you calculate. When they get emotional, you stay composed. When they let the world pull them in every direction, you remain centered. They can't break you. They can't read you. And that scares them more than anything. The greatest warriors, the strongest leaders, the most unshakable minds in history, they all had one thing in common. They knew that control over the world starts with control over the self. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you one of the few. And the rest? They'll never understand how much power that truly gives you. Now, let's keep going. Because what comes next, it's even more dangerous. Number 2, the soul's X-ray, seeing the unseen, unmasking the truth. Most people wear masks. The chosen don't just see through them, they rip them off. You've noticed it. The way people speak with their mouths, but their bodies betray them. The way they say, "I'm fine," but the weight in their eyes screams otherwise. The way they smile, but their energy drips with resentment. What's obvious to you is invisible to them. That's the power of the chosen, X-ray vision. While the 80% live blind, drifting through life, believing what they're told, you see everything for what it truly is. They don't like that. It makes them uncomfortable. Because when you look at them, they feel naked, exposed. No amount of charm, deception, or pretense can fool you. And that shakes them to their core. Where did this ability come from? It wasn't given, it was earned. Solitude did this to you. While others wasted their time chasing distractions, filling every silence with empty noise, you watched, you listened, you learned. In the quiet, you became a silent observer of human nature. You saw what most miss, the cracks in their voices, the hesitation in their words, the tension in their shoulders. You realized something chilling. People don't say what they mean. Most of them don't even know themselves well enough to be honest. But the chosen, we see through the fog. The world is a stage, and most people are just bad actors. They perform, pretending to be kind, pretending to be confident, pretending to care. But their eyes tell the truth. Their energy never lies. Ever walked into a room and immediately felt the tension before a single word was spoken? That's your gift. You don't just hear words. You read the air, the hidden weight between sentences. And it's not just individuals. You see the bigger picture too. The power games, the subtle manipulations, the real motives behind the false smiles. People hate that you can't be fooled. It makes them nervous. They wish you'd just play along, pretend you don't see what you see. But you can't. Because once you see the truth, you can never unsee it. You've probably wondered, why does this ability set you apart so much? Why can't others see what's so obvious to you? Simple, because they don't want to. Most people would rather live in comforting lies than face uncomfortable truths. They ignore red flags. They believe sweet words, even when actions contradict them. They tell themselves, it's probably nothing, when their instincts scream otherwise. But you trust the unseen. That's why you can't be manipulated. It's why people can't figure out how to control you. Because before they even open their mouths, you already know what they're going to say. This is your weapon. The same ability that isolates you, that makes others uneasy, is also what keeps you safe. While others walk blindly into traps, believing whatever they're told, you navigate through life like a chess master, always 10 steps ahead. And the best part, you're not just immune to deception. You can use this vision to build connections that are deeper than most will ever experience. Because just as you see the lies, you also recognize those who are real. You know what it's like when you meet someone who isn't wearing a mask. The energy shifts. The connection is instant. No forced smiles, no rehearsed words, just raw truth. These people are rare, just like you. But when two chosen ones cross paths, there's no need for explanations. It's like two warriors recognizing each other across a battlefield. This is why your presence alone changes the energy of any room. People feel it when you walk in. Some will be drawn to you, fascinated by your depth. Others will fear you, uncomfortable with how easily you can see through their facade. That's the power of the chosen. The power to see beyond the surface, beyond the illusions, beyond the distractions that keep 80% of people lost. You know too much, and that makes you dangerous. So, the question is, how will you use this gift? Because now that you have it, the world will never look the same again. And the next power, it's even more lethal. Let's keep going. Number 3, the razor mind phenomenon. Hyperfocus, instant clarity, unshakable decisions. The mind of the chosen is a blade, cold, sharp, and deadly accurate. While others drown in noise, you cut through it. While they hesitate, you decide, and that makes you unstoppable. Most people wander through life blind, distracted, lost. They chase noise, clutter their minds with useless information, and waste energy on things that don't matter. They are slaves to chaos, trapped in their own confusion. They can't see clearly. They can't think straight. They hesitate, second-guess, and crumble under pressure. But not you. You, the chosen, are different. You have stepped into the silence that most people fear. You have stripped away distractions, walked through the storm of your own mind, and emerged with something lethal: hyper-clarity. This is the weapon that separates you from the 80%. When the world panics, you remain composed. When others freeze, you move with precision. Your mind isn't clouded by doubts, by fears, by the noise of the crowd. You see things for what they really are, and that alone makes you dangerous. But let's be clear, this kind of clarity isn't given, it's earned. Most people can't sit with their own thoughts for 5 minutes without reaching for their phone, turning on the TV, or drowning themselves in mindless distractions. They fear silence because it forces them to face themselves. But you walked into the silence and let it break you, shape you, refine you. At first, it wasn't easy. Your mind resisted, filling the void with old memories, doubts and fears. But you stayed. You didn't run. You let the noise inside you rise, peak, and then fade. That's when the transformation began. Your thoughts started to organize. Your emotions settled. Your instincts sharpened. You began cutting through the distractions, slicing away the useless, leaving only what mattered. It's like standing in the eye of a hurricane. While everything around you spins into chaos, you remain calm, centered, in control. And that's why people don't understand you. They wonder how you make decisions so fast, so confidently, without hesitation. They mistake it for recklessness. But the truth is, you've already fought the battle inside your mind. You've already weighed the outcomes, cleared the illusions, and seen the reality that they are blind to. So while they sit there overthinking, you've already moved. And that terrifies them. The 80% don't understand this level of focus. They don't understand why you don't hesitate, why you don't get lost in confusion. They don't realize that while they were filling their minds with useless distractions, you were refining yours into a weapon. When you speak, you don't waste words. When you act, you don't second guess. When you make a decision, you don't look back. Because you have trained your mind to see the world without distortion, to slice through the fog of indecision, to move with surgical precision. And that's why they fear you. They can't manipulate someone who sees through their lies. They can't control someone who isn't blinded by emotion. They can't stop someone who moves with absolute certainty. This is what makes you one of the chosen. While the rest stumble through life, unsure of who they are or where they're going, you move with power, clarity, and purpose. But let's make one thing clear. This isn't about being perfect. You will make mistakes. You will have moments of doubt. But the difference is, you won't stay there. The chosen don't drown in confusion. They cut through it. And while the rest of the world hesitates, you will be the one standing at the finish line, calm, unshaken, unstoppable. Now, let's move forward, because what comes next, it's even more powerful. Number 4, the echo of pain, feeling what others fear to face. They fear what they cannot hide. They smile, they pretend, they perform. But under your gaze, their masks crack and their pain bleeds through. Most people can't see beyond the surface. They believe what they're shown, accept what they hear, and never question the illusion. But the chosen, you don't just see people, you see through them. Your presence alone makes people uncomfortable, and they don't even know why. It's because they sense something different about you. While others live in ignorance, you feel what they suppress. You don't need their words to know their truth. Their energy speaks before they do. Their silence screams louder than their smiles. and their body language betrays what they try to conceal. This isn't something you asked for, it's something you were forced to develop. Because before you could read others, you had to confront yourself. This power wasn't handed to you, it was forged in solitude. When others sought distractions, you had no choice but to face every unhealed wound, every buried fear, every scar the world left on you. And that changed you forever. When you've walked through fire, you recognize the burn scars on others. When you've battled your own demons, you recognize the war in someone else's eyes. Pain recognizes pain, and that's what makes you dangerous. Because most people rely on deception. They lie to themselves, they lie to others, and they convince themselves they are fine. They build walls so high that even they forget what's buried beneath. But you walk into a room, and within seconds, you've already read the energy. You see the sadness behind the forced laughter, the insecurity behind the arrogance, the desperation behind the confidence. They can't hide from you, and that terrifies them. People can't stand being exposed, even if you don't say a word. Your presence alone makes them uneasy, because deep down, they know they can't fool you. But here's what separates you from the rest. You don't use this power to manipulate. You don't use it to hurt. You use it to understand, to heal, to see beyond the noise and connect with people in a way they've never experienced before. That's why people gravitate toward you. They don't always understand it. They might not even like it. But something about you feels different, real. In a world full of illusions, the chosen ones are rare. They don't play the game. They see through it. And because of that, you attract both admiration and fear. Some will come to you, desperate for someone who finally understands. They will open up to you, tell you things they've never told anyone else, and walk away feeling lighter without even knowing why. But others? They'll avoid you. They'll resent you, because they aren't ready to face what you force them to see. They've spent their whole lives running from themselves, and when you come along, they can't run anymore. This ability is both a gift and a curse, because while you can feel everyone else's pain, very few can understand yours. Who reads the reader? Who heals the healer? That's why the chosen often walk alone. Not because they want to, but because very few can handle the weight they carry. But here's the truth. This power is not weakness. This sensitivity is not a burden. It is the ultimate weapon. Because while others are blind, you see. While they guess, you know. While they react, you understand. And when the world is full of deception, the ability to see the truth is the rarest and most powerful gift of all. That's why they fear you. That's why they admire you. That's why they will never forget you. And that's why you will always be different from the 80%. Now let's move forward. Because this next power, it's even deadlier. Number 5. The Time Alchemist. Turning isolation into power, loneliness into gold. They waste time. You weaponize it, and that's why they will never catch up. Most people fear time when they are alone. It stretches, drags, weighs down on them. They panic, they distract themselves, they run, because silence exposes what they refuse to face. But the chosen, we do the opposite. Where others see emptiness, we see opportunity. Where they feel boredom, we feel evolution. We are time alchemists, the rare ones who don't let time pass us by. We bend it, break it, forge it into something greater. While the 80% waste their days chasing distractions, we are in the shadows, sharpening our minds, mastering our emotions, transforming solitude into an advantage they will never have. You've seen it. The way people scramble for validation, for noise, for constant entertainment. They jump from one thing to another, always avoiding themselves. Their minds are prisons they can't escape, so they bury themselves in distractions, thinking if they move fast enough, they'll never have to face what's inside. But when you strip all that away, when you remove the endless conversations, the meaningless scrolling, the fake friendships, who are they really? Empty, scattered, directionless. But you sat in that silence. You made it your home. And that's what makes you dangerous. Because when others are running in circles, wasting years on things that don't matter, you are years ahead in the shadows, building, learning, refining yourself into something unstoppable. The power of time is something few understand, and even fewer control. It doesn't wait, it doesn't pause, it keeps moving forward, and the majority of people waste it without thinking twice. But the chosen have cracked the code. We know that time is a tool, a currency, a force that, when mastered, gives us an edge over the rest of the world. Think of it like this. Imagine two warriors. One spends their days lost in distractions, caught up in the noise, reacting to everything thrown at them. The other, they step back. They train in silence. They sharpen their skills, study their enemies, prepare for battles before they even arrive. When the moment comes, who wins? The one who used their time wisely. That's you. This isn't just about sitting alone. This is about refining yourself when no one is watching. This is about taking every hour that others waste and turning it into strength, knowledge, wisdom, and clarity. Because one truth remains constant: the world rewards those who have mastered time, and it destroys those who take it for granted. The ability to sit in solitude and not just endure it, but thrive in it, is what separates the chosen from the ordinary. While others seek validation in external things, people, social media, mindless entertainment, the chosen seek something far more valuable: self-mastery. You start seeing things clearer. You recognize patterns in people, in yourself, in life. You learn patience, discipline, how to control time rather than let it control you. And this is where the real transformation happens. See, most people confuse loneliness with emptiness. But the truth is, solitude is not a void. It is a forge. It is the place where you melt down your weaknesses, reshape your mind, and emerge sharper than ever. And here's what scares them the most. When you return, when you step back into the world after refining yourself in the silence, you are unrecognizable. You move differently. You speak with conviction. You make decisions with clarity. And the people who once knew you, they don't know how to handle the new you. Because while they were busy wasting time, chasing temporary highs, you were building an empire within yourself. And now, they can feel it. The presence of someone who doesn't need anyone. The confidence of someone who spent their solitude mastering every aspect of their mind. The aura of someone who cannot be manipulated, distracted, or swayed by the trivial things that consume everyone else. This is the power of time alchemy. It's not magic, it's not luck. It's the unbreakable discipline of knowing that while the rest of the world burns time like it's infinite, you are turning every second into something they will never have. It's why the chosen rise while others stay stuck. It's why those who once laughed at your isolation now watch in silence, wondering how you became so untouchable. And it's why, no matter what happens, you will always be ahead of them. Because while they wasted time, you became the master of it. So ask yourself, are you using your solitude, or is it using you? Because once you master this, there is nothing they can do to stop you. And now, let's move forward. Because the next power, it's even more dangerous. And just like that, you see the difference now. You are not like the 80%. You never were. While they run from solitude, you embrace it. While they fear the silence, you sharpen yourself in it. Every moment alone, every second spent in self-mastery, every hour invested in growth, it all adds up. And the best part? They don't see it coming. They wasted their time. You weaponized yours. They drowned in distractions. You thrived in isolation. They feared being alone. You turned it into your greatest strength. This is what makes you different. This is what makes you unstoppable. But now, the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Because knowing you are chosen is not enough. Living like it is what sets you apart. Most people will walk away from this video and go back to their distractions. You won't. You will see every second for what it is, an opportunity. You will recognize every moment of solitude as fuel for your transformation. And you will never again waste your time the way they do. And soon enough, they will see it too. Now, if this hit you deep, if you know you're one of the rare ones, prove it. Drop a 7-7 in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this truth. Because the world isn't ready for what you're becoming, but you are. See you in the next one. Stay sharp.